Welcome back to the Peptides for Women podcast. I'm Jennifer Woodward, and I'm thrilled to invite my friend Bria Gadd, the period whisperer, onto the show today. I've been so excited to get to witness Bria's peptide journey, and she is going to tell you her story today. So let's get started. Bria, thanks for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Jen. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here, and anytime I get to spend with you, I'm just thrilled about. So thank you for
Ditto.
having me.
I think the feeling is mutual. So let's hear a little bit about you. Tell us about your background and yourself.
Yeah. So I'd say my first career, once having children, was all about fitness and nutrition. So I was a fitness trainer and nutrition coach. I always have specialized kind of in women because that's just what relates the most to being a woman. And I really spent like a good decade, teaching women how to basically create fitness in the cracks of their lives as raising young kids. And that was all well and good and wonderful. I didn't think I had everything figured out, but I definitely thought I had my fitness figured out until I feel like my hormones just went totally wacky around 37, and I saw that pattern, as in so many of my clients. And it was like those kind of dark moments, going to my healthcare practitioner, being told I'm totally fine, feeling like a hunk of junk, where I was like, this cannot be it. Like, I cannot do the next 37 years like this. And at the same time, I'm seeing women, at like 40, 50, 60, 70 that are looking great, feeling great. And so that was really what got me pivoting into the hormone space when I launched the Period Whisperer podcast, which is a great love of my life, just to try to help simplify this chaotic time. And what feels like women's health to me, I think feels like Latin. Nobody speaks it, nobody teaches it. So I'm always trying to take the Latin and make it like understandable for us as women. But it was that kind of that beginning of learning about myself. A lot of the stuff that you already talk about, that on your show, and in your socials and in your programs, that I completely align with. Just kind of that learning how to come home to ourselves, setting those foundations. And it was in the podcast where I had you on the podcast, and that was when I learned about FDN, and where I became an FDN. So that really just changed everything for me, to be able to look more deeply into, I think, our bodies as women, and start to really have our own metrics for what feels normal, what normal looks like on paper compared to what it feels like in ourselves, was just massive for me, to help myself, help my wife, help my friends, help my clients. um, and then, along came Jennifer Woodward into my social media again. I'm living my best life, but I'm starting to. It was a funny thing because, things always come into your life when they're meant to, right? And earlier this year, like probably January this year, I was feeling pretty burnt. I'm pretty open about it, but the last 4 years of my life have been pretty chaotic. I got out of a marriage, a straight marriage. I am now married to a woman. It's been a challenging 4 year, a challenging but liberating 4 years, to say the least. Where I also started this business. So I would say it has been one of the most stressful times of my life. And although I work very, very, very hard on, these things that we talk about, the sunlight, the walking, the minerals, the weight training, all of these things, I just did not feel up to snuff, and I could not figure it out. And I think a lot of women can relate to that. You're just like, I'm doing the things and the things aren't working. And at the same time, I'd seen so much great success with many of my clients, but I was seeing a pattern again. There would just be some where it's just, we could get them sleeping better, feeling better, energy better, but could not get that weight off. So there's just these things that kind of niggle at your heart, right? And then when it starts to happen to you a little bit, for me, it was more just this fatigue. My sleep stopped being wonderful, and when I can't sleep well, I'm not my best self. So when I saw you talk about peptides online, I was like, 2 years ago, someone said something to me about peptides, and I'm like, I don't even know what peptides are. And I never pursued it. But when I saw you on there, I was like, I know you. I have so much respect for you, for the knowledge that you share. I was like, Jennifer, you need to come on my show and talk about peptides. Because all I knew about peptides was that was Ozempic. That was all I really knew, right? And this was what was stuck in my head. And I had a lot of my own feelings around that. And we can talk about that for sure. But when I had you on the podcast, it just changed things for me. And I'm like you. I've heard you say it before. I'm like, I'll try anything once. Like, let's just give this a go. And I won't, blow the whole load here in this moment, but I'll tell you what, it's been good. It's been great.
That is, oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, listen, number one, the feeling is mutual. I have been so blessed to get to be on your podcast a couple times. I was so happy when you invited me back. You were wanting to talk about peptides, and it just made me thrilled because it's so fun to get to talk about. Then you told me, okay, I might want to try peptides. I was like, oh, hell yeah, Bria, let's go. Uh,
Go
so,
to the candy store.
yeah, exactly. We're walking in together, girl. So tell me a little bit about what your first thought in the peptide realm was, because you said you'd heard of Ozempic, you thought you associated that word with peptides and thought maybe they were just for weight loss, maybe they were just for people who are obese. So where did your thought process change and what shifted for you?
Yeah, so I definitely had some negative a negative lens on them. Not for everyone. I do think there's a time and place for things, but I had seen women taking things that really shouldn't be taking things, that really didn't need to lose weight and then looking almost skeletal. Like I'd seen some really, so I felt pretty against it at that point in time. But when you came on the podcast and we were talking about not just the option of this microdose, but also that there are a bajillion other peptides besides this peptide that can support in so many different ways. Like that was a big turning point for me to kind of start doing my own deep dive research. And I think as a functional practitioner, what really got me was one, understanding that these are bioidentical compounds, just like the bioidentical hormones I help loads of women, use when it's the right thing for them. It's something that our body knows what to use and what to lose, like it comes in, it gets used, it comes out. So some of those things were really, I was like, oh, like this makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of our supplements are bioidentical compounds, right? And here we are taking all these things, but all of a sudden, I'd had this block against that. And I think the last little piece where I thought, oh, I've got to try these, was just recognizing the functional purpose of them, like that messaging aspect. Like they're just
Mhm.
telling the body, like, hey, now it's like we've had broken telephone in our bodies for so long because of all the chronic stress that we've been under. And I really look at peptides as just that message repair. It's like, oh yes, you're supposed to do this thing. So it's not a drug coming in, and adding something that's then going to cost me something later in my body. It's really just repairing the lines of communication in your body. And in a world, Jen, when I think everyone understands this, but I never want to minimize what our mothers and our grandmothers went through. But
Mhm.
there's no doubt that the stress component of our world, especially on women, has never been higher in our lives. And this is why I think, COVID came about and it was just like perimenopause exploded because it was just the biggest stress that kind of
Mhm.
layered on and threw us all into a spiral.
Mhm.
And I think, why are we using all these high tech things, living in this high tech life and not utilizing the tools that come along with that? So that was a long way to answer your story about how I
Don't be
came
sorry.
around from feeling like, peptides are bad to being like, oh my goodness, like what was I waiting, what was I waiting for? I can't believe I just didn't have this knowledge. And it forever humbles me how we judge things before we really
Mhm.
understand things.
100%. I'm guilty of it in so many things. And for me, with peptides, like that was one of the reasons. Like I talk to people all the times about the 5 stages of peptides. I put it in my socials. Like we all go through it: judgment,
Yeah.
curiosity, research,
Yeah.
experimenting, and then awe. And awe is
Yeah.
like, why the F didn't I start this sooner?
Yeah.
And for so many of us, it's just because we weren't educated. We don't have the knowledge. And it's very reasonable for people to fear what they don't understand. And so part of the reason like you're out there talking, I'm out there talking, is so people can understand what it is these peptides are and what they can do. They're so much more than stinking Ozempic.
Yeah.
Um, and
Absolutely.
I do love that you brought this up because you and I both work with populations of perimenopausal women. Like these are our people,
Yeah.
and I've never heard it said before that one of the reasons you feel like perimenopause just symptomatically or just as a buzzword might have exploded is because of the stress of COVID. I think that's so wise and so interesting.
Yeah.
And, my mom and I never talked about menopause or perimenopause. I'm reading Ina Garten's autobiography right now, and there's a line in it. She's like the most fun little feminist. I kind of love it. I didn't know that about her, but it's so fun. And she said when, she got married, she realized that women, it was in the era of the 1970s, like Gloria Steinem, all this stuff. And I will be clear, like I personally, I'm not like a big feminist. I love like the idea of feminism. I'm a working woman. I totally get it. But this part just kind of blew me away. She said, now women could not only have it all, but also had to do it all. Right. So, yeah,
Mhm.
you could go to work, you could have a career, then freaking come home and you're going to take care of the kids and make dinner and clean up after dinner and do everybody's laundry and make sure the kids are getting ready for school. And never, never in the history of civilization have women had to do all of those things and have all of those roles. And so, number one, no wonder so many women rebelled
No
against
wonder.
that, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And number two, no wonder our nervous systems just cannot handle it. And I think that that's one of the things that makes women a prime candidate for excelling on
Yeah.
peptide therapy because, like you said, they're biosimilar molecules to what the body already makes. They go to work on the hypothalamus, they go
Yeah.
to work on the nervous system, and they can calm down a body that's just stuck in inflammatory mode,
Yeah.
in fight or flight mode,
Yeah.
and can be
It's so good.
so
Yeah.
soothing to women who are just burnt out. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about that and, your story.
Yeah. So I think when we were talking, I thought, one of the first one that you had mentioned to me where I was like, this is really interesting was the one was NAD plus. So that was the first coenzyme peptide that I decided. And it was a very quick decision for me because I have had felt in my body like fatigued. And I run my own labs every year. I always get someone to come and take a look at it for me. And like I looked pretty good on paper,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I don't feel good. And that is one of the most infuriating things because you're working hard. I'm resting more than I ever had. Like I'm eating well. I definitely like to party here and there. I still throw things in like that because I think that fills my soul up with joy. But I was like, again, here I am now. I'm almost 44, and I'm like, how I can't, like, I cannot. This cannot be my life. I have way too many things I want to do. So when you told me about NAD plus and I researched it and better understood it as really the thing that kind of tells your cells, the little engine in your cells, those mitochondria to like fire up the engines, let's go. I was like, okay, I got to try this. And so that was the first one that I tested out, and it just it was a fundamental game changer. I think I had, since January, I had been walking through a fog. Like every day felt hard. And I am a very motivated individual. I'm very disciplined, but it was starting to wear my heart down. Like I was just not able to see the joy in everything because I just felt like I was doing everything through quicksand. And I had tried all of the supplements. I had, gone 100 days without drinking. I had done all of these things and nothing was changing. And day two after I took the NAD, I was like, oh my gosh. Like it wasn't, I'm not feeling crazy or anything, but I felt like me again. Day two, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
how much money and how many supplements I've swallowed over the last 9 months
Yeah.
to feel like this all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, that was the big, the first kicker for me. And it was just, and it wasn't a one-off thing. Like I have since finished my first round. I think a lot of people want to know about, how long do you have to take things for? I've been off of it now for a month. I did 2 months and I still feel just as great. So I think there's a cycling component to it where just like any supplements where you can cycle things in based on your needs at that time. And I thought of all of my clients who my heart has like gone out to them who have that feeling. And like you, I think it's so important that we don't abuse these things, that we use them as an opportunity to do the healing and live our life in a balanced way. But
Mhm.
man, it was a game changer for me. And it wasn't just my energy, it was my clarity and focus. It was like I have banged out so much work in the last couple of months since doing that. Noticed I would be doing the same workouts, but I would burn an additional 30 to 50 calories per workout, which was crazy.
What?
Yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
I know, I was like, wow, I'm hitting my circles way faster every single day. And so I started looking at it and I was like, oh, and that's the only thing I had changed. So So there were some really cool factors about that one for me where I was like, oh, this one's coming around a couple times a year for sure. This one's
Yeah.
I was a big fan. So that was kind of step one of my peptide journey. And then I thought, well, what's next? You know, what's next for me? And so I'm always like, okay, well, what's been bugging me? What do I want to work on? And I have, as a personal trainer first, like I am a firm believer that like putting on lean muscle is the gold standard for aging well and for our hormone production. And I had noticed I hadn't really been seeing gains from my workouts for a while. Like I was able to maintain, but not seeing those gains. So that was when I decided to try the tesamorelin ipamorelin blend. And you know, actually, what I should say, I was still really struggling with sleep. Even though the NAD helped with just sort of my energy, I wasn't sleeping as well anymore. Like I just had that consistent wake up in the night that was hard. And um, so when that one kind of talked about potential of supporting sleep, when I understood how it, helped pulse that hormone again, I was like, oh, I got to do this one. Like it was just an easy, like instinctual thing, like this has to be next. And it was amazing for me. Like within 2, 3 weeks, I really was sleeping solidly through the night. Like I used to as a teenager. It just felt so delicious, right?
Oh, I love that you put it like that. It's so
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
Delicious night's
it
sleep.
was
Yes.
delicious. I mean, every woman who has ever struggled with sleep knows how horrible it is. Like there is a reason that sleep deprivation is a form of torture because it
Mm-hmm.
sucks so badly. So that was, and I noticed a leaning out in my body. I noticed without me changing anything else. I noticed just, I think, overall movement in my body and flexibility, and even my ability to engage those fine, small muscles as a trainer it was just noticeable, like everything. And then the other thing I would say about that one as well is I felt like my skin filled out a little, but in a healthy way, in the way my teenage daughter's skin has filled out, where they look a little bit more youthful. So in general, that one was a huge one for me. And I was like, oh, this one's going to have to get cycled in again sometime. Right.
I love that you brought that. I remember you bringing that up last week where you said your skin started to look more youthful. And then when you explained what you meant,
Yeah.
a lot of people are worried because I mean, again, when we go back to just like peptides as a class, people are thinking, oh, you're going to lose weight. And we do, as we get older, our faces do get more gaunt. We have less fat, less collagen in our face. And so when you were bringing that up, I thought, what a cool gift for women saving like, $1,000 on filler,
Gosh.
sleeping
Yeah. Oh,
better,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
getting more muscle. Yes, please. And you guys, if you do not follow Bria the Period Whisperer on Instagram, go follow her right now because she walks the walk. You look at her Instagram, she is fit as hell. She does all of the things that she teaches her clients to do. Her skin is clear. Like you can tell she puts in the foundations and she's been doing this for a really long time. This is what she teaches her own client population. So, Bria, that's something we talk a lot about on the podcast are what those foundations look like. And the fact that if you're not doing those foundations, you might not be a good candidate for peptides. We don't just want to tell everyone, hey, go inject because you might be one of the ones that have side effects. So, in your experience, what would you say are the foundations that are most beneficial for you being so happy on peptides?
Yeah, so I am a big morning walker. Like I love to, the first thing I do in the morning, it's kind of like my walk and my meditation. I mean, I have a dog, so he needs to be walked anyway. But even if I don't have him, I walk. So I like to wake up. I get hydration in right away. So whether it's an adrenal cocktail or electrolytes or greens, I take that on my walk and I just get that morning sun in, right? Even if it's just a little bit of the sunrise at the end, depending on what time of the year it is. I just get out and get that movement and that different temperature as it changes through the year. And maybe I listen to something great, or maybe I just think through some things. I think that morning movement for me is so important. I am a big believer of hitting the mat 5 days a week. So that could be yoga, that could be weight training. It sort of depends. But just doing something for your body in that way that either engages your muscles or expands your muscles. I think minerals, I already talked about electrolytes, but minerals are huge. I hear you talk about that all the time as well, like just replenishing that because life is stressful and we just chew through those minerals so quickly. So minerals and hydration, I would lump in together. So I'm a big fan of getting in my liquids, and then of course protein and fiber forward. So I mean, I'm a primarily a vegetarian. I have been since I was 9 years old. So it's always a journey to get there. But once you figure it out for yourself, like 30 grams of protein is a must for me at breakfast. Otherwise, I will be looking for food again every hour. Like it's a funny, if I miss that one window and not eat enough, or I'm like, oh, I'm not that hungry, no, I'm snookered the rest of the day. So I'm a big believer of like, working towards the 30 grams of protein per meal. And then I am a very happy person going to bed between 9:30 and 10 o'clock at night. So those are my foundations. It's like stress management. Oh, and maybe the last one is joy. I just think joy and pleasure is such an underrated part of
Mm.
our health. Like, if you cannot find joy in your day, you need to rupture. You need to sing a song really loudly. You need to scream in your car. You need to do something to release so that you can find the joy again. And that's got to be like a daily practice.
I love that. Before
Yeah.
you threw in joy, you said you're happy going to bed at 9:30, and I was just going to say
Yeah.
you're happy all the time. You're just one of the happiest people I know. You can tell you love life. Like you do have that joy. And I think that is something that a lot of people just life grinds out of you at some point, right?
Yeah.
You're just busy going to the next thing, doing the next thing, performing the next thing, and having a step back and having your body work a little bit better. And for a lot of us on peptides, your brain work a little bit better in different ways is very freeing for you to do the things you want to do, to give you the energy back in midlife as a woman to do the things you want to do. So, can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I think, before I optimized my hormones and had foundations, I think it was really easy to notice like I was even being a snappy mom, right? Like I just didn't have the patience or bandwidth for the people in my life because I didn't feel well in my body all the time, right? And it's a real drag. And maybe it's because of how culture has made women feel, or maybe it's just how we are intuitively with our own body, or maybe it's a combination. But I don't know many women who aren't thinking about their bodies more than they need to be thinking about them. And so I think that first step when you're optimizing your health, it is the most freeing thing to have so much more time. Like, what can you accomplish? What can you do in this world if you're not consumed by how your body feels, or what you need to eat next, or what you already ate, or did you eat too much? These things that fill us, and I don't think it's our fault. um, I also, think it's just very freeing, and the amount of time you get when you're not thinking twice about the clothes you throw on your body because your body feels really great, right? When it like that was one of the biggest things I'm always amazed by, or I know I'm not feeling the best when I'm in the closet and I'm like, what to wear? Because if I feel good in my body, I am in and out of that closet in a heartbeat. Like it's like, great, here we go. Let's because you just feel good. It doesn't really matter what you're wearing, it all looks good. So I think, I have big goals and big dreams. So I think that, along with feeling good in the body and good in the brain is being able to have the clarity and the motivation to get there. And I don't want to spend my time being held down by something that is within my control.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And I think that will resonate with so many women because it runs the gamut. It's not just your body, it's your brain and it's your heart and the emotions that are associated with not feeling like you are your best self or maybe mourning what things were like when you were younger and not appreciating it the way
Yeah.
you wish you would have now. But we are both here to tell you all of that is possible. Okay, listen. It's not going to be like you're not going to have a flat stomach like you did when you were 20 years old. That's just not going to happen because most likely you've had babies or you're a little older, and that's fine. But to be able to feel the best you can for the place you are at in life has just been a gift for me and so many of my clients. And I think for you too, Bria.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't go back in time. I love this age. I love, and then now that I understand how I can feel like
Yeah,
entering peptides this year into my life, I'm like, oh, hell yes.
so
This,
much better. It's true. It's true.
yeah. I almost want to tell, I'm like, hello, you need to get on peptides because what are you doing? Like, do not miss this. Spend the money,
Totally.
do the injection, get over it. It's going to be great. I promise you. You know?
100%. Remember, step five is all. Why the
Yeah.
F didn't I start this sooner? I think that my husband and I literally say to each other all the time. And once our friends come on board, because our friends will come over for dinner. We're just talking
Yeah.
about it because especially if you've heard Bo talk about peptides, like he will anything he loves, he will not shut up about
Shut up
it. And
about
so
it.
He's constantly now sending me research and sending me podcasts and sending me, papers and talking about it with all of our friends. So all of our friends now are on peptides, not because of me, because of Bo.
Even better, the indirect is even
So
better.
great. And they all feel great. So it's kind of been a fun thing too for our little social group and friend group to get to experience together because maybe we stay up another 30 minutes when we have a dinner party,
Yeah.
maybe we have a little bit more energy at a football game. And
Yeah.
it's just fitting into clothes better. I saw, a couple friend this weekend. I was like, damn, Alex, like your belly's looking pretty flat. He's like, I know, peptide.
Peptides.
So
Yeah.
great.
I
And
agree. I,
yeah.
as a practitioner, you can see how we're able to use these to help women go from feeling like a 4 or a 5 to like an 8. But once you get to that 8, like I feel like I now we get to use these to go from an 8 to a 10. And like, come on. Like what else do you want more than that? Like if I can feel like a 10 in my 40s, like, I mean, you just get to live. We're so much smarter and have so much more wisdom at this age. And so it's like we kind of get the best of our 20s, but in our 40s and 50s. Yeah, I think feeling like a 10 for as long as I can is really just the ultimate.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. Yeah, life is so much more fun at this age too because of the perspective I think we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
And you see, I always just think of the word gift. Like I really do feel like there's so many things in my life that have been a gift, and this is one of them. Like I didn't go asking for it. I wasn't really seeking out pep. I just had a coach that talked to me about it, and I'm so
Yeah.
thankful I did because I was like, it's nothing I would have gone to on my own because I think again the stigma that was associated with it. And so having someone be patient enough to talk me through some of the research and the ramifications has just been really helpful for me and something that I want to do for other people.
100%. I think as a practitioner, I feel a responsibility to share what's possible out there and clarify some of the things that I didn't understand for people. I mean, I'm in the wellness industry, so I have a little more capacity and bandwidth to do this kind of research. So if I can simplify this for people and cut through the noise and normalize it so that they can make the decision for themselves in an educated way, I think that's our opportunity as practitioners. Let's make sure that people are getting them safely, getting them the way they need to get them. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of them,
Yeah.
especially for people who are doing the work.
Well, let's talk about that. So have you started to use peptides in your practice? What is that looking like in your life?
Yeah, for sure. I have other peptides I have also tried we can talk about too. But
Yes.
yeah, in my practice, it's been a game changer. I was able to go back to the few clients I had who I know who knew who we'd done all the things. Like they had all the foundations. We were nailing their nutrition. Their hormones were optimized, but we were just stuck in some areas. And I mean, I just got a text this morning from one of my clients who was like, I am down 12.8 pounds and I have never felt better. She's like, this is the only thing that has finally, she's like, I felt really good when we worked together. And now I feel amazing. I had an amazing client of mine. We worked together for a long time, and we just like between thyroid stuff and estrogen dominance, like honestly, when I tell you this woman was committed and did all the things, like she was probably my like prize pupil. But she felt amazing, but could not move a pound. It was shocking. And she, dove into trying, she went on tirzepatide, the microdose of tirzepatide. And yeah, I mean, she's down 9 pounds now. And it's just, I know, like, I think something that when it comes to the microdose of tirzepatide that has really resonated with me is like, we know that stress is the enemy of our health. And not only we know if you can't lose weight when you should lose weight, like that is stressful on the body, but the amount of mental stress that goes on for a woman who can't lose weight when she's trying to lose weight is doing more damage than good. Like it's keeping that stuckness. And how do if we have something that can alleviate that in a safe way? I mean, like let's just like free up some headspace for her, like why?
100%. Could not agree with you more. And that's what I've seen over and over again too. It's almost like a balloon releasing its air. They are just so thankful. And when I say they, I include myself in there. We are so thankful that that headspace is cleared up. There are so many things that I don't obsess about or think about that I wasn't even realizing I was putting so much mental effort into. What am I eating? Did I eat too much? Am I having dessert tonight? Are we gonna have a drink? Like, how much should I drink? Well, like
Yeah, yeah.
stupid, just stupid crap you don't realize that is going through your head. That's gone now. And there is a lot more space to do the things I want to do and love to do.
Yeah. And that experience goes into our central nervous system and then impacts our inflammation. So I think that's, the thing I love so much about it is the blood sugar regulation. About that one in particular, the microdose of tirzepatide, the inflammation right away is just a huge win. You're like, oh my gosh, my body has been stuck, and this now just automatically reduces that call to cortisol in ourself. And then, the insulin sensitivity is huge. I mean, you were talking about women here who are, I mean, like we are eating properly. Like we're really doing the thing and it's stuck. It's not making a difference because of that messaging being broken down.
Mhm.
So, there's so much more to it than just, I guess the way I always like to look at weight loss as weight release, like when the
Mhm.
body is ready, it will release the weight. And so to me, this is just, again, that kind of key into the lock of the body saying, like, oh, you're safe now. It's okay to release some of this weight.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, that call to the body that
yeah,
truly, your nervous system can relax, you can get out of fight or flight mode. Or for some of our ladies, I mean, you see run the Dutch all the time too, like that really low cortisol, that's a
yeah,
huge stressor on the body. It starts to mitigate a lot of the imbalance that a woman's going through because you're 100% right. I mean, that's like one of the basic tenets of FDN is that HPA dysregulation, HPA axis dysregulation is one of the prominent reasons why we're experiencing all these symptoms, be it inflammation or weight gain or autoimmune disease or whatever it is, that dysregulation of our nervous system. And so that's why I think the coupling of foundations plus the anti-inflammatory effects and the signal modulating benefits of peptides, like you said at the beginning, messengers, basically that's reestablishing the right telephone connection in the body. I love that. Now the body's able to do what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be a homeostasis. It's supposed to function normally, but that stress component is what's not allowing it to do so.
yeah. And why is it stressed like that? Again, as going back to kind of circling back to what we originally talked about, women are doing more than the lion's share of things, and they have been doing it for a very long time. And now they're heading into a time in their life where their hormones are transitioning, which is another workload. And that's when we're getting really stuck, and it's not fair.
Yeah, so it's not fair, all you perimenopausal women. This is your permission from Bria and Jennifer to just try the tirzepatide, okay?
Yeah, or or if that's not your problem and you need something else, there is a candy store of peptides here that can help you, I promise you. And if you're someone who wants to try things, like I had another client who tested out the NAD, and she was like, I feel like I could run a marathon today. I'm like, I know it's not this like rushy, insane feeling. It's just this beautiful, clear feeling in your body of like, oh, I'm not falling asleep in the afternoon or at 7 o'clock at night in front of the TV, or I'm not needing a glass of wine just to like, I don't know, feel like I did something else in my day or numb things out because I actually can function so well in my body. It's pretty powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember the refrigerator is called a refrigerator, not that thing you put juice in.
Yeah.
The brain fog is gone. Now, Bria,
Yeah.
you did allude to the fact that you had tried out some other peptides. So can you tell us more about your current peptide stack and maybe what your future peptide stack might look like?
Yes, absolutely. I'm already thinking, of course, about it. So, my wife and I, so I should just touch quickly on the fact that who is always my lovely guinea pig, we had worked so much on her gut and so much on optimizing her hormones, and she was feeling so much better. But she was honestly one of my clients where I was like, why is this not moving? Like, why are we not budging on this weight? And so we decided to test out the tirzepatide. And a big thing for her was blood sugar regulation. Like she would be up in the night eating and, full and then hungry an hour later. And so this has been a game changer there. I think 12 pounds is where we're at now on that one, which is amazing. But we have been together testing out the BPC 157 and TB 500 stack. And I mean, for me, I have noticed a difference right away. I'd have to ask her where she's at on it. But since the summer, I'd finished a pretty intense weight training program, and I'd just been having this elbow thing. Like it just, I felt like must have been tennis elbow. I'm not sure what it was. I obviously didn't go and have it checked out, but I'd had to switch off of weight training, and I was doing more Pilates focused things because it hurt. But it impacted me when I was pulling a suitcase. It impacted me when I was trying to open things, when I'm trying to chuck it for my dog at the park, and that has gone away in the last couple weeks, which is really amazing for me. Just like less aches and creaks in my hips, especially where I think I always end up holding a lot of strain and stress. And I feel like my digestion has tightened up. So I'm thrilled about that one because I think we don't realize how much energy gets sucked in discomfort of our body. Like we understand it emotionally, but that we talked about, but the physical discomfort. Um, and we are about to try together the PT 141, which is one around sexual arousal and things. So had to wait for the kids to take off for that one. So it's coming. But I'm pretty excited about it, Jennifer.
It's a fun pep. We're gonna have to do a whole nother episode
Yeah.
on PT 141 for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, so that's about to go down tonight. We'll let you know. I'm very excited. And for the future, I mean, goodness, like there's so many, but I definitely think that we will together test out Semarelin.
Yeah,
Um, and I am very interested in the copper peptide, the
yeah,
GHKCU as well. Um, and then I'm really, really geeking out about some of the cognitive ones. So I'm
mm,
really looking forward to kind of seeing what else comes out through the compounding pharmacy that we love and trust,
yeah,
because I think, that brain health, that cognition is so important. And yeah, I'm super pumped about testing out some of those as well. So I plan to
yeah,
kind of cycle them with, again,
yeah,
with the rotation of my fitness and what's going on in my life right now, right? When I have time to be more intense in my workouts, that's when I'll test out Summerell. Um, when I feel like I'd rather run for Botox, that's when I will go to the copper peptide. you know, I will I will work along with what I need. So, but I'm
yeah.
very grateful for them and for you normalizing it for me, Jennifer, because that was just the bridge that I needed.
I'm so glad to hear that. Somebody did it for me, so I'm happy to just pass
Yeah,
it along. It's been
pay
great.
it forward.
Yes, and I did just start my GHKCU last week. It's so cool because it does, I mean, copper is blue, so it's like this
Yeah,
bright blue peptide and it's beautiful. It's almost mesmerizing. And I will say, and I read this, that it can be a little bit harder to like it's a little bit more painful to inject than like your
sure.
normal peptides. And my injection site, like little owie, it was painful for at least 2 days, and normally I don't notice it at all. So I'm curious to see whether or not that kind of like subsides as I use
Yeah,
it more often. But it's not that uncomfortable. But I'm just so used to injecting myself. I was like, what's that? Owie? Like it
I
still kind
know.
of hurts on my tummy. But it's worth it if my skin, hair, and nails are better. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
But it's much
Yep.
less painful than I think a whole face of Botox. So not that I'm judging, I'm just saying let's test out our options here.
100%. You
Yeah.
are so, so right. Yes. And then I was just on a call, I don't know, earlier this week where I know corporate is testing out a bunch of new peptides like in the pipeline right now. So, so exciting. They won't tell us which ones they are yet, but I mean, the world's just starting to open, you guys.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'll try them all.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? I mean, we've tried so much. Think about go back to your like late teens and early 20s and think about all the different workout programs you have tried. Think about all the different nutrition plans you have tried. And these things are good for your body. They're
Yeah.
what your body already does. Let's just give her the support she needs because we're not slowing down as women and nor do we want to. So if they can help us again bridge that gap or repair some maybe past bad decisions that we've made with our health, why not?
Well, and to your point, this isn't something that's going to be putting another stressor on the body, another diet plan, another heavy exercise plan. Those are
Yeah,
stressors to the body. Adding in peptides reduces some of the stress in the body. And that's why I think it really is such a powerful tool for, us midlife women.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, my friend, it is such a joy, literally a joy, because you really are so joyful. I love talking to you. I love hanging out with you every single time. Thank you for taking your time to come on the podcast. Tell us, where can we learn more about you?
Well, you can come and hang out with me on my podcast at The Period Whisperer, and where you get your pods. You can catch Jennifer's amazing, well, a couple of episodes actually, right there. So iTunes, Spotify, anywhere, or yeah, come hang out on Instagram at Bria underscore period underscore whisperer.
Bria, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in today on the Peptides for Women podcast. We will see you next time.